What do you know is true without evidence? What are you certain of, right down to your bones, without proof? Back when I was 10 there was a competition for school kids to write a treatment for an episode of Doctor Who, with the best one being developed into an full episode in the next series and the winner receiving a writing credit. I was a huge fan of DW at the time and the competition was actually run through schools. So my teacher made the entire class do it. But I was very excited. I began writing a story about the Doctor landing on a planet full of defective Cybermen, whose programming had gone awry and had been left on this asylum planet to rot. The Doctor lands there in response to a mysterious distress call from a woman and attempts to find and save her while avoiding the dangerous dysfunctional Cybermen and the looming threat of planetary destruction at the hands of the normal Cybermen. I finished my short treatment and gave it to my teacher to submit. Unfortunately, it turned out the competition was very strict about the formatting of submissions and mine was returned because I had used the wrong formatting in some way. It seemed like a weird reason. I was a bit disappointed, and that was the end of that. But then, a year or two later, there was an episode of DW called Asylum of the Daleks, which seemed incredibly similar to my story except with Daleks. So incredibly, eerily similar in fact, that to this day I'm absolutely convinced that Stephen Moffat saw my script and came up with a formatting excuse so that he could remove me from the competition, steal my story, change the bad guys and claim it as his own. I have zero evidence. I don't even still have the treatment I wrote, or any letter from the BBC about my submission. And yet I know in my bones that Stephen Moffat stole his script from 10 years old me. I believe Yao undefined. Back when I was 18 I got my first tattoo, the Squaresoft logo on my upper arm. It was 2001, and I was also on my own in a new state. I was and still am a huge RPG fan and it's the height of my geekdom. Well, I sent in a picture of me and my tattoo with a short letter about me and my favorite games to official PlayStation magazine. They published my letter and photo along with the caption, "We don't know whether to be impressed or frightened." The very next month they started a tattoo of the month section and I'm absolutely sure 100% that I either started that or was the story that proved the concept, the test. Unless someone can come from that team's time and tell me I'm not, I'll always believe I was the start of that. Undefined. As a member of the creative team, of which I'm not, I can tell you that you are 100% the inspiration. The Truman Show was made to make me think the entire world watching my every move was a ridiculous notion. But I know better. I remember watching the episode where you watch that movie. That my cousin stole my holographic first edition Charizard Pokemon card back in the early 2000s. I audibly gasped. That's like a cardinal sin. I know for certain that the comments on this post would look different on Facebook. But seriously, I really love that Reddit has a voting/ranking system that actually changes the experience of the other people at the site. Hidden behind anonymous usernames, rather than "oh what did that bitch Stephanie from my high school class say now?" My brother deleted my game save on purpose. He was old enough to read. He knew what he was doing. I did. For every sock that goes missing a Tupperware lid appears. Undefined. That my last boss secretly hated me even though we had, on the surface, a very positive relationship. My boss acted like we were friendly and encouraged me to be open with her. And then I got fired out of nowhere. So, that was obviously an act. Undefined. My ex-boss used COVID as an excuse to make me redundant because I was the only member of his team to be hired by someone else and not him. Peep that guy forever. Lots of companies are using COVID to get away with all kinds of speep right now. Cassie Anthony killed her daughter and her parents know it too. Undefined. To me there's definitely evidence, but the justice system failed that poor baby. And to me, what's worse is last year she apparently said she wants another child/children. My cat knocked over the water glass on purpose. As the timeless saying goes, cat knows, cat doesn't care. There's a travel agency that's been around in my town for as long as I can remember. I wholeheartedly believe it's a front for the mob. You better keep quiet or you'll be taking an unexpected trip. We're all too in over our heads. This is truth, dude. This society is so fragile. We can't build even the simplest components we rely on. I'm a software engineer and I have no idea what's going on. That a lot more famous actors than we realize are secretly the children of other famous actors from the previous generation. I call it the Hollywood bastard theory. A startling number of famous actors and musicians had rich or famous parents already connected in the industry. It seems the outsider making it big is more and more rare. If I'm stuck in traffic and switch lanes because the other lane looks like it will move faster, the lane I just switched from will automatically go faster. However, if you don't switch lanes, your lane will still go slow. So go ahead and switch lanes. Even though it doesn't change your commute time, it speeds it up for the rest of us. Getting a name tattooed on your body is a curse both on you and the person whose name is on you for as long as you wear it. Tell that to my father, who has his own nickname tattooed on his arm. I think he reversed the curse by doing that because of the amount of luck he's gotten in life. My cat is in a constant superposition of having recently eaten and being starved to death. At least, that's how she acts. Also, any of my feelings about myself can't contradict or disprove those, no matter how hard you try. Humans can communicate telepathically. We just don't know how to use it on purpose. That being sick with a bacterial infection as an infant and almost dying is the reason why I'm never sick despite being a super unhealthy person. When I was in 10th grade I came down with one hell of a sickness. Not like any regular cough and sore throat sickness. I'm talking like 104 fever. Hard to see. Could not even put myself into the reality that I was awake type of sickness. I remember being in school. I was a perfect attendance kid and being pulled out of class to talk with my sister who lives across the state. But I know that couldn't have happened, and I think I was just having fever dreams while awake. My point is, after this I never got sick. Ever. I threw up once in my 20s from drinking too much the night before, but I've never had a fever or anything of the sort since. The most I've gotten was a sore throat from allergies. It's been over 15 years, and I still haven't gotten sick. No evidence to say this is why, but I've always told people the same thing as you. Not that it is something I believe to be true, but something that I often think about is the butterfly effect. Like little things I do during the day could affect the total outcome of my day. I stopped for ice cream the other day on the drive home. And when we got back on the highway there had been a massive accident where the back of a red Porsche was just incinerated. Maybe we would have been hit if we hadn't gone to Dairy Queen. I watched Flight 93 go down. I would never share that in real life because it's peeping grim and no one would believe you. The geography of the reports are off. I saw it clear as day from Kent State's main campus, Ohio. I didn't know what I was seeing other than I remember thinking, that plane is way too low. We had a aviation college, so planes were common and too big, and it's jerking around like how a toddler drives a Power Wheels truck. Continued on to class. You don't wanna be late even at a liberal college. What you almost certainly saw was it being taken over by the hijackers. During the hijacking, which was at 9:28 AM, maybe a 9:30 class. During the takeover it was very jerky and lost a lot of altitude, and it took a while for the hijackers to stabilize it and get it under control and turn it around. Undefined. The world is not ready for a bald messy Pelado. That I have felt love. I'm really not sure if this is what others have felt and called love. But if it is not, I don't know what is. Burger King hash browns are just tater tots. Aren't McDonald's hash browns essentially big tater tots?